So let's conclude the Pixel Studio in Affinity by Canva with this flyer right here so that we can move to the Vector Studio, Typography, and then Layout. And I intentionally did this flyer to make it look like Devon Graphics type of flyer because I normally get messages from people sending me his flyers and ask me how they can add the textures on his flyers. Okay, so we are going to try that in Affinity by Canva or at the end of this video on this particular flyer. So stick with me. This is Graphics with a Design Chef. Let's jump into this video. All right, so we are in new document panel. Let's go ahead and create for Instagram post. So let's drop this guy and choose pixels. Okay, and for the width, let's make it 1080, and for the height, let's make it 1350. Right, good. So that is that. Great. All right, so if I don't emphasize on something, that means we did it in the previous video. Okay, so starting with a background, let's go into the resources and bring this image. Okay, we are going to have two backgrounds. Okay, so let's just drag this and drop it here. Can place this guy here and scale it up. Okay, all right, so with this we can just blur it or lower the opacity. So in the layers panel, I can lower the opacity like this. Okay, all right, or we can blur it, but you know, let's not blur it. We'll blur this later. So with that, let's add guides. So let's go to view and guides. So I explained the guides in the previous video, you understand it better. So let's add vertical guides and let's add another one. So we have two, so it's going to be 10, okay, and 90, and let's add horizontal ones. So the first one is going to be 5% and 95%. Okay, so let's click close. So we got our guys like that. Okay, so all the important information will be in this boundary. Okay, within the boundary, right? And then let's bring this logo. Okay, the logo of the church, so you can place your church logo over there. And when you are scaling down, don't hold shift on a keyboard, else you might distort it. Okay, all right, so we got it right here. Let me zoom in. Okay, so it's invincible. So did I say invincible? It's invincible. So let's go to FX right here, and we got color overlay. So the problem with this guy is when you click on the name, it'll pop up, the panel will show up, but unless you click, check it, and it will take effect. So you can change the color from here. Okay, we are making it black. Close it. All right, now let's grab the type 2. Okay, you can hit T on the keyboard, it will dock. Okay, to float over here. And the second one, the first one is the type 2 itself, but this one you can click and create a frame with it. So select the second one and just click drag like that. Okay, and we can type something in there. So I'm just going to type church name goes here, Chapel International. Hit Control Enter to escape, and I'm not seeing the full text, so I'll just drag this guy here. Okay, since it is a frame text, so I'll just bring it down a little. Now let's grab the type 2T. Okay, but this time let's select the first guy, click and type presents. Okay, so we got it. Now let's grab the character panel, Control T on the keyboard, and the font that we are using is Affinity. All right, it is included, the link in the description, probably the same font that we used in the previous video. So if you have them, you're good to go. All right, and we are using 6 points. All right, and the family, we are picking the heavy guy from the family. And when we come down here, we can see we have tracking over here. Okay, so there's the VA with an arrow. Okay, let's punch 440. Okay, percent. Hit enter. You're good to go. So we can close this guy for now, and we can just place this guy somewhere here. Okay, let's send it. Okay, you might tweak it later. All right, Cool. So let's have our shapes. So let's grab the rectangle tool right here. You can hit U on the keyboard, it will get selected. Okay, and let's create a rectangle. So I'm just going to start from maybe somewhere here. Okay, so with this I will just look up here, all right, and just click this guy. First of all, let's take away the stroke. So let's click this and click none. It will set it to none. Now we have only the stroke, sorry, the fill. Okay, so we can click this and pick a color. So right now I'm using hue. If you are not seeing this, probably you are on RGB slides, so you can click this, drop this, and why is it not dropping? And you can pick hue from here. Okay, so you can pick hue. So I'm just going to pick any blue color like that, and let's come up here and drop this. Let's pick rounded for the corners. Okay, and let's make it 12%. Hit enter. Right now grab the move tool and then hold alt on the keyboard. Okay, hold alt, click and drag to duplicate, and then let it touch. Okay, let it touch and duplicate again, let it touch here. So let's zoom in and let's select the 3 and squeeze the side until we have some space over here. Okay, so squeeze it like this. All right, now with the select this guy alone and let it touch this guide. So we have the select the 3 again, and let's go to the vector persona. Okay, and you see up here we have alignment. Click it, and the first row we got the last guy here, space horizontally. Click and you have equal spacing. Cool, let's zoom out. Now let's go back. Let's quickly move back to the pixel persona. Else let's select the first guy and come up here. So let's pick a green color for that. Okay, and let's select this guy and let's make it yellow. All right, cool. So this guy right here, select the first one, and with this, with the move tool selected, you will have the other tools floating over here. So the second one is the perspective. Okay, so this is the perspective, and we have a single plane destination. Cool. So I will just click the side and drag up like that. Okay, not too much though. So that is that. I can apply it over here. So once you apply it becomes a raster, no more a vector. Okay, so it rasterizes it, so you can't just change the color easily unless you add color overlay. So same way with that. Now since I've rasterized this, I just have to select this and grab the perspective tool again and just do the same thing like that. Okay, so right, so just do the same thing. You could have duplicated that. Okay, but once you duplicate, if let me delete this guy and just hit Ctrl C Ctrl V. Okay, I have duplicated it. Right click and we have transform over here, flip horizontal. If I drag it here, same thing, but we've lost the ability to change the color of this. You see, we don't have it up here, so all we can do is just go to FX and color overlay, check this box. Okay, click this and we can pick a blue color. So that is that. And should, in case you don't like the blue on the layer, you can see you have FX over here, so toggle layer effect. If you click on that, it will pop up and we can just let me bring it here, change the blue. Okay, so I can push it somewhere here. Now let me click close. Is there any difference? Okay, so cool, there is a difference. So we are going to talk about clipping mask. Okay, and we can start with these shapes. So we can clip these images in there before we bring the images, okay, the people in there. So we can start with this guy. So let's make sure you have the green guy selected, and let's bring this image. So I can just place it here and scale it down. I can rotate it like that. All right, so to clip something or to put the image into the shape, this is the green guy below the shape, right? So all we can do is just select this guy, okay, click and drag it on top of the green guy and release. It is in there. Okay, so if you check, you can see this arrow over here. There is a tiny arrow over here. If you click it, you just close the group. Okay, it goes into it as a sub layer, so you can click this to expand it, and you can either turn the image off or on. Okay, toggle the visibility for that. All right, now we have that. So if you move everything. In case you want to resize the image alone, you can just click this. Okay, select the image over here, the bottom one, or you can simply double click to have the image selected, and you can resize it alone in there. All right, so I'm just going to scale it up like that, and after this I'm just going to apply some layer mask, blend mode. So I'll drop this and have some blend mode in there. The blend mode is lighting, and I'll go ahead and change the opacity. Let's lower the opacity. Okay, all right, now we can select the yellow guy, and let's bring another one. So you can drag this guy in there. Okay, I can scale it down and just click and drag on top of the yellow shape. Now let's just lower the opacity. There's no better blend mode over there, so let's lower the opacity and select this guy, and we can bring this guy in here. So I'll just place it here. So if I drag and drop it on top of the blue, we can't see it. Why? Because there is an FX, okay, on top of it, so we can't overlap that. So let's turn this guy off and select this guy, right click and rasterize. So we have to uncheck the preserve layer FX and then rasterize. Now let's turn this guy back on. We can just drag and drop it. All right, so if we go ahead and lower the opacity, everything will disappear. Okay, so let's drop this, click the small arrow to drop it and select the image over here. All right, and then you can lower the opacity from there, or with this one we can change the blend mode to soft light or overlay. Okay, but let's make it soft light. Cool, now we are done with that. So let's bring in the other images, but before we do that, let's click this guy, okay, to select the green guy, and we have it open like that. So the clipped image is this one. Okay, all right, so we can select the green guy. This is the green layer. Go and bring this image, let's place it here. All right, so to clip this one, we simply have to do the same thing. Just click, drag and drop it on top. Okay, and it goes in there. We can adjust it later. Let's select the yellow guy. The yellow will get selected, and bring this image, and we just have to click and drag it on top like that, and it goes in. Select the blue guy, and let's bring this image, just click and drag it on top of the blue, and it goes in there like that. Cool, so we have our images like that. All right, now they are looking so good. Now before we write their names down here, let's bring this image. I just want us to finish with something before we add something. So we got our noble guy right here. So once I have this guy here, I'll go ahead and paste the names over here. So you have Reverend, and you can add the names down here. Okay, that is just simple as that. Now let's go ahead and focus on the typography. So with the typography, we are just going to grab the type 2 T on the keyboard. Okay, so we are just going to, you can click and drag to just have a preview of the size when you have the first one selected, the artistic text 2, and we are going to type ruler. The reason why we are seeing this, okay, is because we used the tracking in the previous text, which is the present. So let's move this guy here, please, and hit the Ctrl T for the character panel to pop up. And if we check the tracking, where is the tracking? Let's select this guy, and you can see that the tracking becomes 440. Okay, make sure you select this rule. All right, and change it to 0. So change it to 0. We have our ruler over here. Now the font is the same as the previous one, the one we used in the previous video. So I'll go to recent. You can go to recent. If you follow that video, you can go to recent, and when you drop this, you can see we have Moga over here. All right, so this is the Moga. Now this is how to get this effect you are seeing over here. This is how you are going to type it. So the first letter is going to be capital R, okay, and the U is going to be small u, okay, small letter, and the L is going to be capital, and then the E is going to be capital E, okay, and we have R. So with the E we can just tweak it later, okay, we can make changes to that. So control enter and exit. Now let's just grab the move tool and let's tweak this guy here. Let's tweak it. Okay, so let's scale it up manually. So in case you don't like this effect, with the on the character panel, you can see we have this FI guy over here, the standard ligages. If I click on it to deactivate, you can see they go back to their normal shapes. Okay, so if I click it, I have this ligages in there. Now what I can do is, if on the character panel, this arrow, okay, this arrow, if I click it, you see panels. If I click this panel, it pops up. I can scroll down and I have typography over here, so I can click this typography panel and I can close this panel. Okay, so once I have the typography panel over here, there's the character and there's the typography panel. You can see under the stylistic alternate, we have default, we have stylistic alternate 1 and 2. So if I click the alternate 2 or the alternate 1, you can see what we got over here. If I click the 2, it changes back to, I think, the defaults. And we have the stylistic set. If I check this, same thing, I guess. All right, so that is that. And under over here, you can have capital, all caps, and you can have normal, small caps. No, probably if it doesn't help this text or this font, different fonts, it might help. So I'm just taking you guys through the typography panel. Okay, all right, so make sure you have this guy back like that. So normal and normal over here, we got all alternate defaults, and you have the default over here set. So let's close this panel. All right, so not all fonts have ligatures. Okay, so in case you have some stylistic or alternating, they can just chip or go there and see if there's alternate. So hold alt, click and drag to duplicate up, and let's change this to prolific. All right, so with this prolific, we are going to change the font to, I have this font RVG. It will be in the description. Okay, so the link to the resources will be in the description. All right, so I can scale this guy down. So the font pairing, you know, we have the Moga and RVG. Okay, so let me just step back and tweak it a little. All right, so let's select the ruler, and on the character panel, let's click this guy. Okay, there's the font color, and we have gradient over here. So you can click this and click, you can pick yellow for that. Okay, let me just see if I can have pure yellow over there. All right, I think this is cool, and we kind of have some reddish orange B over here. So let's slide it. Okay, cool. All right. And right now we need rectangles, so let's grab the rectangle tool. Okay, and let's create some rectangle. So let me just bring it up a little. Right, so Control C, Control V to duplicate on top. Okay, and sorry, bring one down like that, and let's just squeeze it like this. Okay, all right, so with this one we can squeeze this guy here, and then Control C, Control V, move one here. All right, cool. So we can just let this guy touch. Anyways, it doesn't matter if all right, so that is that. Now with this, when it comes to color, you just have to stick to, you know, these colors, green, blue, so you can just stand them. Okay, so you can make this guy a gradient of blue to match this one up here, and use this guy a gradient of green to match this one up here, and the bottom one can go for yellow. Okay, so just select this first guy, and over here click and have the gradient like that. So you can have a gradient of so click this, and over here we can have a blue. Okay, blue one over there, click this guy, click, and let's just make sure it turns to yellow, or the color over here, and you can click this color picker, click and hold, and then move over here, and you can pick this blue, and you can drag it to the shades like that. Okay, cool. And let's come and select this guy and click here, click gradient, click this and click, let's pick green over here, click there, sorry, let's double click this to have it selected, and let's click the eyedropper, click and drag, and then bring it to the shades like that. Okay, now we have something like this. And with this yellow guy over here, you can make it, you can add a little bit of orange to it. So you can come to the gradient, and just over here you can add small orange to that. Okay, that is cool. All right, so on top of these will be text. So I got this, and over here I can bring this location icon over here. So if you want to make it white, you know where to go. Just come to FX and then color overlay. Okay, and you can just pick white for that. All right, and don't get me wrong, let's close this. The text, you can make it black. You can make it black. Okay, and this guy, the icon, you can also make it black. Anyways, all right, so now make sure you have the topmost layer selected. Okay, and let's come somewhere here, grab the rectangle tool, and just create a rectangle over here. And with this, you can make it a gradient of red. Okay, so you can pick red from here and come and click the side, click this, pick a color from here, and just drop it into the shades like that. Then up here I will drop this, and I'll pick concave. Okay, on the corner choose concave like that. So that's just, and I will just paste the name of the pasta on top. So there is important thing to know over here. Okay, so you realize that we started with a background layer. Okay, we started with a background, which is this image over here. Now you can see that if I drag it, you can see it is white. We have white background, but there is nothing there, even though this is the image that we placed there, the texture, but you can see there's white background, but it shows that there's nothing. Let me show you one thing. Select the topmost layer, okay, and bring this glow guy over here and drop it. So once we change the blend mode to screen, we are supposed to see, the black side should disappear so that we have the glow, but you can see that there is black around it. That means the background is transparent, even though, let me hide this guy first, even though when we turn the texture off, we still have white there. So what we can do is select the background, okay, the last layer, which is the texture, add a new layer, okay, and drag it below, so this guy becomes the background. Okay, so you can name it BG, we have it BG, and make sure your foreground color is white, and grab the flat fill. Okay, you might see this, right click and flat fill, you have it over here, and just click. If I click, I've filled it with white. Okay, so you can see, let me undo and redo, let me redo it. You see it becomes white. Now we have a white background. So if I come over here and just turn it on, you can see the black disappears. Right, so this is the glow. You have the glow like that. All right, so if I turn the white background off, you can see it appears like that. So that is, take note of that in case you place a glow light and something like that happens. So we are just going to brighten this gentleman's side like that. Okay, and we are going to hit Control J to duplicate this glow lights. Okay, and we are just going to hold Shift and squeeze it like that, and we are going to place it here. All right, and Control J to duplicate again and bring one here. All right, so we got this. So let's make sure we turn on the texture back. Okay, the white texture that we added. So select the topmost layer, and let's lock these glow lights because it might interfere with our clickings. So let's grab the pen tool P on the keyboard. All right, and let's zoom out. So we can click somewhere here and then click somewhere here, drag to get a curve like that, and click somewhere here, click and drag to have a curve like that. So the size up here, I've taken the fill out and I have a stroke size 6.9. You can make it 7 and click this. Let's apply gradient. Okay, so over here we can pick a yellow color for that, and here we can pick a green color for that. All right, so we can have a green over there. All right, that is that. Now one thing that you can do also is that when you click this, okay, and then you drop this, you can see over here we have noise, so you can add noise noise texture on the color. Okay, so there will be noise on over there, so we increase the noise, and let's come and click this guy, click, and let's increase the noise. Okay, so we have noise on top of that. It will be helpful once we start, or when we start adding the noise, overall noise. Cool, so that is that. And what we can do is just grab the move tool, hold Alt, click and duplicate. All right, and we can just turn this and place this side here like this, and we can hide the rest and place this guy here like that. But what we can do is just come over here and change the colors. Okay, so this side we can make it red. Cool. All right, and if you want to delete, you can hit A on the keyboard. This tool gets selected, the tool below the pen tool, that's the node tool. You can click this node right here, hit delete on the keyboard to delete that node. All right, and we can hold Alt with the move tool, duplicate down here like this. Let's rotate it and let's decrease the stroke size like this. Okay, so we are good with that. So let's talk about texture. Okay, so we are going to add halftone and noise, but the halftone in Affinity, I don't like halftone, so I don't like it, so I won't recommend it. Okay, so we are going to use this halftone that I got right here, and I will do another video whereby you apply this texture in Photoshop and Affinity. Okay, so I'll provide more halftone overlays in that video for you guys, but for now let's use this one. Okay, so I'll drag it in here. It's very big, so I'll step out like that, and okay, so with this I will just drag the layer below the curves. Okay, the curves that we created with the pen tool. So now we can go ahead and change the blend mode to multiply. Okay, and let's go and lower the opacity, so 22 school, have it in there like that. Okay, you can toggle the opacity anyways. Now let's click this guy, this filter adjustments layer icon over there. Let's click it, and we have add noise. So we got this right here, live add noise. Okay, here let's bring the intensity to 100 and change this from Gaussian to uniform. Okay, and that is that. So it is added. So if you go in there, you can see there is noise over there. If I drop this and I hide it, okay, you can see there is noise in there like that. Cool. So to to make this flyer more cooler, you can lock this layer, okay, the texture layer. You can lock it and select this guy's layer. All right, and you come here, the filters, click, oh no, sorry, the adjustment layer, the first guy, and we have black and white in here. So you can add black and white. It applies to all of them. So what we can do is just drag it onto the layer and it will affect only this guy's layer. Okay, but one thing is that I don't like this black and white. Okay, so unless we drag it in here to lower the red in there so that we have some kind of cooler black and white, but I'm not recommending this. So let's undo that. Okay, let's undo the black and white and come to the adjustments and HSL. Okay, so with this one we just drag the saturation to 0. Okay, close it and then drag it in there to apply it to this. This one is way cooler than the other one. So I can drop open this up like that, hold Alt on the keyboard, click and drag this onto the mouse layer to have it will turn everything to black and white. So I will just hold Alt again and share it share the black and white. Okay, then after that we can open this up and drag the HSL onto the mouse image to apply it to that alone, and open this up to the HSL is here, drag it onto this image, open this image and then drag the HSL onto this. All right, so this is it. So we can select the topmost layer, okay, and create an exposure adjustment layer over here. All right, so you can increase the exposure a little, something like this. Okay, close it. Now let's add mask down here, and then right click on this mask and then you will see invert mask. So grab the brush, okay, and make sure your foreground color, the foreground color is white. Cool. Now we can make, and your flow is somewhere 100. Okay, I mean closer to 100. Let's brighten up the faces. I think my flow is very bright, so we can just brighten the faces. I think the faces are too dark. Okay, so that is that. If you choose to use black and white for the images, okay, these people, then you can add a gradient background to it. Okay, so let's come and select the guy, okay, the texture at the bottom, and let's add a new layer like that. So let's grab the fill, okay, this to fill to, and let's click here and then drag down. So we have a gradient, and let's click somewhere here to add another color stop. So up here, I mean the middle one, we can make it white. So you can pick white at the middle, and the top here you can select this guy and we can pick, let's double click over here and let's pick, and then down here we can have a color like this. So that's it, and we can push this up like that, and we can push this over here. You can see there's tiny rectangle over, did I say rectangle, dash line over there. Okay, so that we have it, or we can just push this side up. Okay, you just don't want the yellow portion to show too much, and then the blue itself, so you can do something like this. All right, or you can even bring it here like that and use what we got in here to just pull them up and pull them down like that. All right, so that is that. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more tutorials, let me know in the comments, and I'm out. Peace.